I'm good when everyone else is.
You got a recording going, we might as well start there, I guess.
Yeah.
Close enough. I'll call the meeting to order. And we got a flag. Did we find a flag? Oh, there it is. Have a pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the roll call, we have Mike Perkins missing tonight. We have the other four here. First item on the agenda is consider the improving the minutes of the June 26th meeting.
I move we do that.
Move and second, all those in favor? Unanimous. Discuss the quick claim deed for the paper road. I think Boyd's gonna explain that to us.
You want to start or do you want me to jump first?
Take it away.
All right. So, it was a while back now, this spring, the council had wanted us to go back, send this to the attorney, to have them look at, whether we actually own the right of way and whether we, what steps we had to do to transfer that right of way if the council chose to. So one of the concerns was that section of road was never built on. So the concern was, our concern originally, which why we sent to the attorney, was usually with a paper street after a period of time, if there's no road on it, it'll go split between the butters. Half the right of way goes to one side, half the right of way goes to the other. So that was our concern. So Bernstein Shore did their assessment or whatever, and they came back and basically they couldn't find, there's only one way that that street could have been kept in Manters. They would have to file something in the registry basically saying we intend to keep that road as a public way to use for the future development because it had been more than 15 years. The Bernstein Shore couldn't find anything on that. They couldn't find any paperwork on that. So basically what they did is they said, if you look at the map here, they said if that paper street was split, the Barneys already own this, that already would be theirs anyway. The only issue is this stretch that abuts Miranda Arsenal potentially may have reverted back to her or whoever owned the property before. So what they suggested is that the town, if the council chose to move ahead with this, with the Barneys, the town could do a quick claim deed for this piece, the one that we think Barney's already own. That way, if there are any rights that they find later on, the town's given up those rights for that stretch. And then really the Barneys have to get an attorney involved to chase down to figure out if legally the town can offer that. So basically they need to go through whatever records they can, talk with Mantor, whatever they've got to do to try to find some documentation saying that yes, that is in fact owned by the town. And then the council can act on it after that. So what we said to the Barneys is we can do this now if the council elects to, but we can't do this. That really goes back onto you and you've got to do the legwork to prove to us that we can issue that to you. So if the council chooses.
And
Convoluted. So
Kelly says that the yellow part that you've shown there is the turnaround that we're keeping, right?
correct. Yeah, the first 50 feet, we're keeping that right away. So the only thing we're talking about is the 150 feet behind that. And beyond that, the Barneys only decided that all those lots that aren't developed inside there, so they reverse back to them anyway. So and we met with the Barneys on
We
this.
spent.
Anybody got any questions on it?
So if I understand correctly, there's a chunk of land that will stay with the town until they find out who has rights to it.
Right now, we have a deed to that, whether it means we actually own it. So
But it's just that one chunk. on
it's just
one
that
side
150 foot by 25 foot stretch on the
borders
border.
the other.
That one, basically, the Barneys have to come back to the town with their attorneys, research and spend money to make sure that the town, there's documentation that Mantor had to make sure that we are able to
Mantor, the
That doesn't- that's not-
the Kennebec County.
But typically though, what we're sort of hearing is that the butters each have a right to half of that.
On a paper street after a certain period of time.
So the people on the other side have the right to that chunk.
Potential. There are some, there's a lot of gray areas, a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, to be honest with it, because there is stormwater structures that were put in there, but no road was built. So basically the attorney was advising us, you really, there's enough ambiguity and concern in there that they said you really can't offer that other piece. You can offer the one half, which the Barney's already about anyway. But you can't really offer the other one because there's no evidence proving the town actually owns it. Even though we have a deed to it, it may mean nothing. So, the owners kind of fall back on Barney's now.
But the reason they have the right to the half of the road is because they're in a butter and we're not gonna keep the road. So
Correct.
theoretically, the person on the other side would have that same right to take whatever chunks in front of their property.
Potentially. The only thing legally is there were some storm drain structures and things that were put in by Mantor years ago. Does that constitute retaining ownership? You know, it's a legal question that they felt like this really, the ball should go back into the Barney's court to chase that down. So it's clear as mud.
So what's the downside of the town doing nothing, and letting them figure it all out, and then coming to us with their? I mean, why do we wanna do something first? Are we inconveniencing anybody by not doing something first?
No, they came to this, they requested this of the town. There's nothing saying that we can't just stand pat and wait. They did expend money for the legal costs that we had and everything to do this. I'm not sure if they've actually sent a check to the town yet or not. So that would be the only thing, is they've actually expended money. It would be nice to give them something for what they spend money on. But whether it's now or 2 months or 6 months or, you know, the issue is if they ever, I don't know what they're gonna do with that property. They may retain it and just never build on it. If I'm in their shoes, the issue I have is now my right of way to that lot is split in half. So I no longer have a road right of way like was originally designed by Manta. That could be a big issue for them, which is what really raised to them. So, I guess that's up to the council whether you want to do it now or later. But cost is the only thing. Yes.
You know, I guess I would agree with what Bob's getting to is we're gonna be coming back here in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to do it again.
Potentially.
Right. Unless they can't prove that but that's a chance. So I guess why spend a lot of time?
Well, the time's already spent. I guess.
No, I mean-
It's a quick claim deed if we want. Basically, we think the Barney's already own that half. So basically, we're saying if we even have any rights,
You can have it.
we're providing it to you for the cost or whatever the council decides. So.
If we do that tonight, that probably will go away forever then. We'll probably won't hear
Because
anything
then
about
it's
the
up to
other.
the Barneys to.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to find out something about the other half, like how about the people across the road there, the arsenals, if they,
That they would be the ones that, if our attorney is correct, they would be the ones that would own to the right of way, and then they would have to, the Barneys would have to go to the arsenal, say, you know.
or couldn't the arsenals come after that other half?
They could, right now, our attorneys have said there's a potentially, they actually own 25 foot by 150 foot stretch. That was deeded by Manta over to the town. See what I mean? So when this paper street is split, right, right in the middle, half of it, if this was a paper street and nothing was built on it, and it was more than 15 years, met the deadline, half of it will go to this lot owner on this side, and half will go to that one.
So the arsenals across the road will own that other half.
Potential. Right now, it's deeded to the town, but it's really up to the Barneys to have their council decide, you know, figure out the convolution of, you know, all the stuff that went on with Manters. And basically prove to the town, you do have legal right to give us that, in which case the council can decide if we want to give that 25 foot by 150 foot stretch. So the quick claim deed is only for 25 foot by 150 foot on the Barney side.
So do we have a lawyer in this, or are we using Maine Municipal, or who are we using?
This was Bernstein Sure.
Alright,
Here's
And there's
Ray Lewis, they said, you should give this back to the Barneys and let them dig further and get their own lawyer to figure out the other half.
I can read right from Bernstein Shore, the
Okay.
final correspondence we
Sure.
received from them. To recap your discussion, my discussion with them, our research does not show that the town owns the right of way. Rather, because we do not have evidence that the developer retained any interest in the street, the right of way was most likely vacated as a matter of law. Accordingly, the abutting landowners would own up to the center mark of the right of way. Therefore, if the town wishes to act, we would advise it use a quitclaim deed to convey any interest the town has in the half of the right of way abutting the Barneys property to the Barneys. If the Barneys would like a conveyance to the whole right of way, they could coordinate a title search on their own to determine if the developer retained any rights to the street. Our attorney said basically the title search is $5,000 and they didn't feel like the town should, even though the Barneys were paying that cost for us, they felt like we need to pull back and let the Barneys, if they want to do a title search, they could do it, so.
What do they owe the town as of today?
$3,500.
I don't see the issue. If the legal side of it, they're proposing that we do a quitclaim deed, it's 25 by 150. The town will do nothing with that. It's just landlocking everything else. And if there's a legal right to do it, then
Making that a motion, Dave?
I'm making that a motion.
I'll second it. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, boys.
it's easy to have.
Item 2 isn't anything about Pointry, it's about a point of entry. I thought.
I was wondering what that was.
Go ahead, Kelly.
So a while back, Bob asked us to submit the long-term point of entry treatment system agreement that deals with the land over by off the town farm road to have legal review. So Boyd had sent it to Mary at Bernstein Shore. She kind of did her thing, and took quite a while though. There was a lot of miscommunication. She thought she sent it, she didn't, she did. But anyway, so as you can see, she's made a few little corrections. There's some strike through wording.
Yeah, we modified the DEP,
Yeah.
because it really wasn't any protection or not enough protection, I thought, for the town. So we made a bunch of modifications, and then the council had asked us to send it to a lawyer just to make sure we're all covered.
Yeah.
I forgot which side of the road you said this was on, the same side as the landfill?
It is, this is the Taylors, so it's, yeah, it's on the same side as the landfill.
So now, which way are they from the landfill?
We are.
They're right
north.
across from me.
Oh, right
They're
directly across from you? Okay.
They were the only well in that area that was over the.
Yeah, I remember that, but I didn't remember where the house was. that we talked about.
And Boyd has to start the sampling for
Yeah.
that soon and go over this.
Yeah, we have to, now we're obligated to test for PFAS forever and ever and ever, which we've never done before.
Are you obligated to test their water for? What about the abutters that had their water tested at one time and were given a clear bill of health?
We don't, at this point, we don't have to test their water. We have to test Taylor's water anyway, because they're so close to the landfill that we've been testing their well for other contaminants for years. It's just now, the PFAS is it's like $250 every test. And so they've added, DEP's added that to our repertoire that we have to test annually, so. But I don't at this point, there's nothing, unless with EPA just changed the PFAS standards. So I don't really know if there's any other landowners out there that were close to those new.
Well, there's a trailer park, and there's the Zimbas, who used to at least own a trailer park. Me and Shane Savage. But everyone except the tail was tested negative, or they were within the allowed testing requirements. I just wonder if at some point the state's gonna wanna know, or somebody's gonna wanna know if somebody, if Zimba came forward and said, about testing my water again, I'm assuming he would have to pay for that. But then the town would get on the hook if there was, yeah.
So not necessarily, so the EPA just changed the standard, it used to be 20 parts per trillion, now it's, well, it's a convoluted thing as usual, but it's like 4 parts per trillion, it's significantly reduced, so I don't know if any of the existing wells were between the current level, what EPA has set, and what the state originally had said, which is 20. So if that's the case, if they exceed, at some point, DEP is probably gonna go back through their records and say, okay, all these places that were over the EPA's new limit now need treatment systems, that's possible.
I read over the new agreement with those minute changes for the tailors, and I move we accept that.
Second, all those in favor? Thank you. And number 3, we have to sign the warrant of a special town meeting.
I have 7 copies here for you to sign, please. Those posted public hearings, gonna be Monday night. Slideshow today.
Public hearing is 22nd, right?
Yes.
And while we're signing those, I was wondering about, Jan, you had it on Facebook about public hearing and stuff. Do we need to do some advertising in the paper or anything? Get a reporter out here and have a talk with them or something, so.
You could do that too, but remember how we always post in 5 separate places?
Yeah.
We were
So,
waiting until it was signed.
You know, it was brought up, and it is during the summer when a lot of people are away or at camp or whatever, and, so before we get accused of sneaking this through unannounced, it would be good if we could get the reporter in here or something to, you know.
I'll send her that tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever, just something so that we use all the avenues we got.
The more the better. Facebook's not enough. The website? The website. Can I put it on the website too? That's a good time.
I'm glad you offered this to me. I don't have any reason to steal yours, no, hang on to them just a minute.
Okay, I have a couple more things that have come in after the agenda was sent. One is Dave Hoffman's here tonight to give you a heads up, he received some funding, so. Go ahead, Dave.
So a week or so ago, we were notified by the Stephen Tabitha King Foundation that they were awarding us $40,000 towards our UTV project for side by side. So we I put that before you to accept those funds. We'll be adding association funds to that from donations that we've received towards this project. So the entire project's gonna be about 60,000 when we're done. We're gonna be, looks like we're gonna be purchasing a 2025 Polaris Ranger North Star Crew. So they have the 4 seats with tracks and some other accessories. We'll be purchasing a fire rescue unit that goes into the back. So it'll have a water tank and a pump and some hose, as well as a place for a Stokes basket or a stretcher. And a trailer to tow it. The current trailer that we have is not tall enough or wide enough, so we're selling the enclosed trailer we have now. We're purchasing a new trailer to go with it. So it'll be the 40,000 from Stephen King, and then approximately another 20,000 from the Firefighter Association will be donated to the
You
town.
have that on hand?
Yeah. So
Any questions?
I think I have an idea of what, can you just sort of share with us what type of things we'll use that for?
well, the main drive towards that is the new rail trail that we'll have. So towns that have those type of, that trail is kind of an important piece to have, to get out on that trail if we need to, as well as having the tracks, we'll be able to get out in the snow onto the lakes if we need to for any type of snowmobile accident or injuries out on the lakes, on the trails. It'll have firefighting capability to be able to go onto, where we have grass fires and woods fires, from whether it's from the trains or other areas in town. So those are the two main purposes, and then as well as just having that vehicle available for whether it's for Oakfest or different events that we can use. The older machine we have now. The machine we have now is a 1992 that was donated to the town by Bob Clark back quite a few years ago, and has kind of become the flower watering, which everybody knows it as now. So there's been instances where it's like they're watering flowers and we need the machine. So this way there'll be two separate machines.
My second question is a humorous byproduct of what you just said, but so I think what you were saying was it can actually carry a stretcher with a person on it.
What about basket? What we call a Stokes basket, so like a basket that a patient would be in, there would be a place for it on.
So they actually lift up, lie down, with
Yep.
rescue.
Yep, and then strapped on so that I have.
So do you trust the ladies that are watering flowers to use that cart?
No, new one, no, new one.
No, the old one, the old one.
No. Oh, they do use it.
Oh, they do? Yeah. Do they have to have a certain type of license?
No.
So that's kind of,
I'm being facetious.
that's a picture of the unit you see with us. There's no people there.
No, I think just the idea of being able to go in the woods and rescue somebody.
Oh, so you can keep the water tank in there and
Yeah, that stays right.
they'll fit right beside it. Oh, that's great. I think that's a pretty valuable thing with all the trails and the walking trails and the snowmobile trails and the ATV trails that we have around town and stuff.
More trails, parks, there's a lot of different areas to,
Summer concert series.
the power lines. There's a lot of places we can
There's a lot of
access.
off-road activity around here now.
Give me more of it.
So we have a motion.
So
I'll second it. Bob seconded it. All those in favor?
I understand.
This has got nothing to do with wages. I don't know why you have to
Fire
abstain.
department, already, Kelly's been.
We value your opinion about anything.
You can raise your
fire
hand.
department related.
Just gonna,
Like, what's my opinion, Kendall?
Thank you, Dave. Rick has an update on the situation that happened today.
Yeah, one of my officers today responded to a vehicle on the side of the road, which isn't uncommon. When he got there, he realized that it was an overdose situation, which again is not uncommon. When the officer reached in to take the keys out of the ignition, he became exposed to the fentanyl in the vehicle, which instantly dropped him to his knees. He was able to radio to us for help, but by the time we got there, he had managed to get back to his cruiser and Narcan himself. So, I mean, that was good, but he was still on his hands and knees in front of the cruiser. He was pretty, he was in, I'm not gonna say bad shape, but he was feeling the effects of the Narcan pretty good. He ended up being transported to the hospital. I've been to see him, he's doing well, he's going home tonight. But it's just an example of how dangerous the drug problem is, not just to users, but to everybody.
And how important it is to have 2 officers.
Yeah, that would have been nice because
Just,
we wouldn't have had to, yeah. So. Yeah, it was good. You know, it went about as well as it could, but it could have been a lot worse. So, and the rescue showed up. They were very helpful as well. Thank you. So it was scary for him.
How did you get in contact with the chief? I mean, it was.
Well, it was called in by, it was Fairfield Street, and it was called in by a resident of Fairfield Street, car been there for a while. It's not uncommon for us to go to overdose situations where people on the car on the side of the road, they call it and say they're sleeping or they're getting a heart attack or something, but it's an overdose. Probably I could go back and look, we've had quite a few, a lot, and you guys are Narcan, and we've Narcaned them. We've never Narcaned ourselves, that's the first time we've done that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, is it in the car, in the air, or?
it's airborne.
Oh, okay.
It's airborne.
That's what I meant.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
I wondered how deep.
It becomes airborne, you know, she got startled, she moved, it becomes airborne. Oh, Tim got it in the, I was gonna say his name. Got it in the face.
You had to figure out.
Yeah. No, I just, yeah. But he got it in the face and it hit him like a ton of bricks instantly, he went down.
we thought you should be aware of that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna file a report with MMA tomorrow, just first report.
Yeah.
Once Tim can come in and see me.
I hope that's more.
Saw the activity down there. I knew you were up to something. I didn't know what it was.
But,
You had some more?
2 more things. One, I'd like to check with you guys to see if it's okay to go back to 2 meetings in August. The August 7th, August 21st. I know we had said go 1 meeting in July and 1 meeting in August, but we got a lot happening and I think going back to 2 meetings
It
is.
wouldn't be the 7th, wouldn't it be the 14th and the 28th?
Oh, yeah. Oh, probably right.
Second.
It's not good.
There. Can you see small print?
Could we do the 7th and the 21st in August and
Work for
then,
me.
and then go back to the 2nd and 4th week, starting in September?
To make sure that
Yeah,
the notice sent, so you don't forget, there's a.
it will be highly publicized, I promise.
Works for me.
Good.
That's good.
So the 7th and the 21st?
7th and the 21st.
Okay.
All right, and lastly, so we're getting ready to sign the tax exempt master lease purchase with the municipal leasing consultants. I didn't send you all of this because it was just mumbo jumbo, but I did send it off to Bernstein Sure to get legal opinion. They would like you to.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like, they would like you to accept this vote as written, and then they'll provide their legal opinion. And then we will send all documents back to municipal leasing consultants and we'll be good to start purchasing. And they did say that that's a very good interest rate for Sure. He said that's one of the best ones he's seen in a while. So,
Anybody got any questions? I make a motion, we approve this, purchase
As written.
as written, yeah.
This will be reviewed.
The lawyer wrote this, yeah.
We have a second? Yeah. All those in favor?
Now, I think we're gonna go on a tour.
Wanna go on a tour?
We're going on
Want
a
to see if
tour.
there's anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also.
I'm good.
Good. I got one thing I wanted to mention, that, when we got our lead safety people here. When you're coming off Oak Street, on the main street, across the railroad tracks, there's a little small sign up there that says, do not stop on the tracks. I've never paid any attention to it, I've always stopped on the tracks. Cause you're waiting to get out on the main street. And the other day I was sitting there because there was some traffic and I says, I wonder if that 45-mile-an-hour train is on its way. So I think and I haven't looked to see if anybody else ever stopped back there and wait, but no, I've never seen anybody do it. So I wondered if we need to do a little more advertising on that before that 45-mile-an-hour train comes through. And I know you've dealt with the railroad chief on different things with hazardous stuff, so they're hard to deal with, so.
Yeah, I don't know how the railroad is gonna publish, whether they're gonna have the slats or anything. But yeah, it's definitely see people stop on the tracks there.
Yeah.
On traffic.
I've done, and I try not to anymore, but,
Yeah, and on the, as we're talking about the railroad, Dave and I had a conversation with some outfit that works for the railroad that does all the scheduling for the replacing of the tracks. And they wanna do rice rips on the 9th of August, and they didn't realize that Armstrong and Gavin Road was closed. I said, those residents cannot be landlocked. They wanna close the road down, rip out the tracks, put the new ones in, and then the next day pave. So we pretty much said, there's too many residents there to not have a way out. So they were gonna talk with the railroad about putting some sort of structural support into the Gavin Road, Marston Road Bridge, so that they would have a way out.
Well, that would, you gotta make sure it's weight rated too.
Right, like trucks
Like
would be
this
able.
afternoon, we went to fire call in water on the Marston. So it's not just a matter of getting a car over, it's getting several tons.
you know, fire truck, it wouldn't be too heavy for that bridge, I mean.
It's not rated for it.
It's not rated for it, and it would just be probably for 2 days, and it would be local traffic cars only.
And I think Fatfield Street, they've got that, on Main Street here, is the one they've got it all put together, sitting in the parking lot there, and they're ready to dig the old one up and set the new one in, and it's been sitting there a while, so apparently they're gonna close the whole road to do it.
Up to 6 hours for a total closure, would be no traffic at all.
Right.
6 hours.
That is very limited, I think, after that, till they get it
Paved.
paved. They're kind of sparse on the details.
Yeah, well,
We've been,
they're not
Dealing with
easy to work
months.
with.
Not at all.
we've been
I'm
trying
still
to,
waiting for.
they look at their Google Maps and they'll say, well, there's a bridge, rice rips, there's.
Yeah,
there's a
there's
gap.
two.
So they need to update their Google Maps, because there's no bridge there.
So I just wondered if we ought to do something about a bigger sign there someday, or maybe you guys could just take a note and see how many people pay attention to that little one.
It's definitely an issue during school traffic. Cars have parked there for a long time.
Yeah.
Stop on the tracks.
Yeah.
You know, so
Put a stop line just prior to the tracks.
that's the only thing I can think of. This, because
There's not a stop sign there, I don't think,
it's
there's
a
a
yield.
It's a yield.
If you stand there,
There is a little small sign that says, do not stop on tracks, but it's up in the air and it's on the gate mechanism there, and really you don't
Yeah.
see it much.
and you watch during school traffic, morning and afternoon, cars are on the tracks for, sometimes up to a minute. So,
If we're talking about cars, the Market Square and the triangle, is that a no parking zone?
The truck that sits there.
Yeah, truck, cars, if somebody's parking in that diamond, and if they're at a certain point, you can't see until you're like out in there. I don't believe they should be parking there myself, but
I don't know, I can check.
some people can do that. It's just it's a solid white line.
Right in front of the house.
Yeah, I know where you're, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
There's parking across the street. Right on the side. Between Naomi and Cozy Cottage.
It's fairly new too. I don't think they were parking there before. I think that's what.
And it's been about a month.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it was before that, when we checked it all that, you know, they were not, nobody was parking there. You could see it pretty good.
It's a new tenant or something.
Anything else? Do we want to adjourn for our tour?
I make a motion to
Yeah.
adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Thank you, guys.
Thirty-five.